Hey, it's Pierre. I'm doing a review today of the Black Knight Ion Cannon PS. This is a model that's been around for a couple years from Black Knight, and I've been playing with it for a couple matches now. I wanted to give you my feedback on it. First of all, this is the racket that Mathieu Castagnier uses on the Pro Tour, and also a newer version of the one that my friend Jeremy plays with almost every time I play him. So this is let me show you the cosmetics. So we got kind of like a silver and yellow look, Black Knight. We've got things on the inside here, Black Knight, and kind of some of the technical stuff in here, the Power of Six is what they call it. And it got sort of the Black Knight logo here, kind of a rock on the handle here. And the grip, this is the I think this is called the Rad grip from Black Knight. And one thing I want to show you about the handle while I'm here is a lot of rackets, kind of choke up at the handle. It narrows quickly. This one sort of smoothly tapers very smoothly. So if you ever need to kind of really grip up far on the racket, maybe if you're stuck in the back or whatever, it's actually kind of nice to feel like you're not just gripping the sort of tiny piece of the shaft. There's a harrow, and this is more typical, like it's the smaller shaft. But on this one, if you choke up, there's a bit more to grip onto up there. So the Ion Cannon, we've got a teardrop shape. It comes strung with Ashaway strings, which are really nice. And when I first started hitting with this, just a very lively racket. It's the frame is kind of evenly balanced. It's 135 grams, and they call it. It's written in here. I don't know if you can see it. 135 grams, and then they call it the dynamic weight is 135 grams. What that means is it's an evenly balanced racket. If the dynamic weight were less, it would feel lighter than it is. In other words, it would be head light. But this is dynamic weight is the same as the actual weight, so that means it's a evenly balanced racket, and it does feel like that. It's got the frame has a little bit of stiffness to it, but the strings are very lively. You feel like it just feels like it's exploding off the strings. The ball does, and so as I was warming up, I was really feeling like, wow, this thing is just launching the ball. But it took me actually a little while to get used to something on this racket, which was as I got into the game. Just from the feeling of the strings and thinking of Castagnier, he hits it really hard, I was imagining this was going to be just a super power racket. But I was finding that it felt more control oriented. Actually, it was surprising me. Like I said, both the feel of the strings and kind of how Castagnier plays, and also when you have a teardrop shape like this, usually the longer strings are going to give you a bit more bounce in the out of it and a bit more power. But I was finding it was very control-oriented, and what I eventually kind of figured out is that the sweet spot on this was in a slightly different spot. It was a little bit further down, and so I would say about there. And so take your time when you're using this to sort of find where that ideal spot is, because once I started to hit that proper sweet spot, all of a sudden this really transformed into a much more powerful hit, and also that really gave me good control as well. Obviously, once you're hitting that sweet spot, you can feel the touch. It's a nice with that even balance. You get kind of a good. It's a good combination of if you take a full swing, you feel it kind of carving through the shot, but it's not so head heavy that you can't, move your wrist quickly and also dig something out of the back. The size of the frame is not so big. Some other rackets are bigger and a little harder to control in the corners, but this one is maneuverable. So all in all, once I found that kind of sweet spot, this became a really enjoyable racket. Lovely balance and a good, lovely balance to the frame, and also a good combination of power and touch. Once I found the sweet spot. So this again is the Black Knight Ion Cannon PS.